All. How are you, my friend? Good evening to you, Johnny Rowe. How are you? What's going on in your life? Up and about? Lazy Carlton win on the weekend?
Yeah, well, it's looking a bit dodgy at half time, but yeah, doing beautifully, Trev. Thank you to all our viewers as usual. Um, yeah, it was a tough old second quarter to watch, wasn't it? But
You didn't jump off us at half time by any chance, little birdie told me.
no, I didn't jump off, but I wrote a song which, surprisingly enough, is called "Carlton, You Make an Alco Out of Me." So hopefully, get that up to you and put it on the Facebook page very, very soon. But yeah, look, here we are again, under rehearsed and at least underpantsed.
And definitely underpaid.
Yeah, completely.
No, well, I like the title of that song, and I look forward to listening to it. Carlton, you make an alco out of me, because on the flip side of things, yes, when we're going bad, we drink, and when we have a win, we drink. So either way, we've got both bookends covered.
I was planning to be a good boy on Sunday. Sunday we played? Yeah, Sunday night. So I thought, oh, yeah, I'll get a fresh start Monday. Got into the 5 minutes into the second quarter. Fuck this, bang.
I just went straight for it. So I just opened up a few beers at the start of the game, and I knew I was in for a big one because I was going to stay up and watch the tennis.
Yeah.
But at halftime, I got out the good stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
So I've had a bit of a dent in that. Starward whiskey, by the way, everyone. That's what I'm drinking tonight. A local distillery from Port Melbourne. Get on the Starward. Starward Solero is my choice at the moment.
Brought to you by.
Brought to you by Starwood. Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us. Carly Bumbus, we love seeing you on our show. Darren Famillo, we love seeing you as well. Thank you for joining us. Luigi Felino is an awesome contributor, and we love seeing you. Brendan Whitford, one of our all-time favourites. Thank you for tuning in. How's that first and last quarters? He says, great win. Andrew Lake, the most knowledgeable Carlton man in the universe. Blue Horizons Facebook champion. Good evening to you, and very good, awesome friend. Who else have we got? Tanya Dominin. G'day, Tanya. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Grego, yeah, thank you, mate. Happy 11-5. And special shout out to you, Greg. Thank you very much for your work over in the West on the weekend. Some raving reports. Kept us all abreast of what was going on with the WA function. Had a good chat with the Buzz, and we got a good update on his health battle. So yeah, really appreciate you giving us that little insight that we normally wouldn't have got outside the Perth. So thank you very much to you, my friend.
Cheers, Greg.
Brad Miller, good evening to you. How are you? Thank you for joining us. What a great win. We'll have a chat about that shortly. Great is maybe not something that I would use, but I suppose as a Carlton supporter, after 20 years, any win's a good win. Who else we got? Wayne Feenstra. G'day, Wayne. Good percentage boosting win. That's very important. Lowly Eagles went to the game nervous at half time. How do we bleed 7 goals from a 17th place West Coast side? That's a very good point. And yes, we'll deep dive into that very, very soon. Jack Murphy, thank you for tuning in. Love your stuff. And we love everyone's stuff. Tanya Berger, thank you, tuning in as well. Great by the Blues over West Coast. It's another notch on our belt, Johnny, one that we haven't had for a while, beating the West Coast and beating them over there. We did look at it as a danger game. We didn't get too cocky. We know that they'd been down and out this year. And we also knew that they had a few players back and had some good performances. So, great win. Would you use great?
Definitely not great, but it was interesting before the game. I must have spoken to about 20 Carlton supporters, either on chat here or face-to-face down at the footy club or around the traps. And to a letter, everyone said, oh, geez, I'm nervous about this game. It's a danger game, this one.
Yeah.
It was good to come away with the points. But yeah, highlight on that second quarter, I think to let 7 goals go, as I said, to the 17th ranked team, albeit, they've got a lot of players back and they're still have shown that they can still be a competitive outfit. Was not good enough. I mean, you won't win a single final giving 7 goals away in a quarter. But we'll got a fair bit more to say on that. So I'll turn it over to you, Trevor, and the audience, what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I'd
quick
love to
thoughts.
hear everyone's thoughts, and thank you for whoever sort of mentioned the bleeding. I think it was Wayne talked about the 7 goal second quarter. We blitzed them in that first quarter. They didn't score. We were right on top of them, which was unusual for us to get off to that really good start. We're up and about, hitting targets. We were just right on top of our game, and whether that may have been an influence over us sort of dropping our heads or dropping our guard a little bit in that second quarter, I think that's a possibility. I think the other possibility is some credit to West Coast. They are a very proud footy club, and they responded to that abysmal first quarter that they had. They were atrocious in that first quarter. So let's be honest, we were on top of our game, but they were atrocious. So I think credit a bit to them. They did, get a little bit more. Like they sorted out their defence and went harder at the ball. So that was an influence. So I think it was a combination of a couple of those factors. But like you said, it just can't be done against the good sides.
Now, there's one thing I can't work out, Travis. Why are you wearing the West Coast Eagles shirt today? Are you hedging bets? Did you hedge bets?
No, this is just no West Coast. Might look a bit yellow, but no, definitely got the Blues stuff on, mate. No, it's all good. All good.
Look, a good point there by Andrew. Worth noting they kicked six versus Richmond last week in the third, and kicked only 1-2 after half time. Yeah, that's a fair call. And I guess our third quarter was pretty good. We didn't score all that heavily, but we really that was an arm wrestle which we managed to win. Barely. That third term really set us up for the final quarter. Now, the final quarter, my beautiful girls, God love them, they wanted to cook the roast, which was just fantastic at the end of it. But I had to sort of keep an eye on them just to make sure that they were, not burning themselves or setting the house alight or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I got back at one stage, it must have been, about 20, 25 minutes. How the hell did we get 10 goals ahead? I thought we were only a couple up. It's just, I wasn't concentrating. So
Yeah.
I'll be interested to go back and look at that fourth quarter. So I haven't seen it yet.
Watched it yesterday. Definitely do that. We also have been criticised for not putting sides to the sword that we should put to the sword. That was done against West Coast. You could argue that we could have gone further. Got a better result or won by more, but we put them to the sword, and it was great to watch as a Carlton supporter. And I'm sure people at the game were very happy to see that too, and see the West Coast supporters leave. But we haven't put a side to the sword like that for a while. Harry and Charlie were just on. The whole group was on in that last quarter, and it was good to see. We need to do that. We need to do evolution is just go really hard and just destroy teams like that.
Yeah. Yep. Now, before I get into the serious stuff, it was funny after the game. I shouldn't have done it, but I thought I'll have a bit of fun here. And I put something up on the Facebook channel. Will Hayes wasn't good enough, not enough output, needs to be dropped for next week. And he was on for 2 minutes. I thought everyone would have seen that as tongue in cheek. Well, I went fishing and I caught more fish. I caught more than I did in the bay, Port Phillip Bay, when there was a flathead infestation. I had to get rid of that because I got sick of explaining.
A few touchy ones around there, especially game time. Got to be a bit careful. But look, Will Hayes was a good in. For the time he did come on. I don't think he put a foot wrong. Clearly, and they put him out, as the sub in lieu of Setterfield. That's probably sending a message to Setterfield as well. It's also potentially, rewarding Hayes for his work and just wanting to see him. So it's not like he's a young guy playing his first game at 18 and he needs to get his parents over. He's a 27-year-old mid-season recruit. So to get him over there, get him on the ground was a good result. And interesting to see what happens next week for him.
Yeah, so that leads me into what I didn't like so much, into a little bit of the negative stuff, is I think it was a real coaching faux pas for not getting him on earlier. I saw as soon as Jack Newnes got that corky, I actually thought it was an ankle, but it ended up being a corky. He couldn't turn, and so he couldn't chase the way that we would expect people to chase for a certain period of time. And I would have got him off then. Get the fresh player in, someone who can turn, someone who can run with. Because Newnes, just for whatever period of time it was, what just wasn't getting it done. He couldn't because his legs were not working that way. So I would have done that a lot earlier. That was one of the things I didn't like, and that was in the second quarter when they were really getting hold of us.
Absolutely excellent by you at that point.
Thank you. I don't think you've ever said that. Jeez, I'm getting all emotional.
It's the whiskey talking.
Jeez, that's good stuff. I want shares in the joint.
Get on it. It's good stuff.
But I'd also like to go back into that second quarter and just have a look at where the deficiencies were, because it was quite stark, wasn't it? That second quarter, and it's put forward a little bit of a trend for us, which I don't like, and Michael Voss doesn't like. We'll get to that in a minute. But as soon as a furnace is turned up, we sort of go missing, and that has to be rectified before we get to finals. Because we won't win a final, like I said, based on that second quarter. If we let any team do that in the finals, that's it. Good night, Irene. Pack your bags, go home, get under your pre-season. But Michael Voss, first of all, I'll talk about Michael Voss, and I'll talk about next week. Don't let me forget. There's some important points here. Michael Voss addressed this perfectly in his presser, in terms of his saying, look, we're the same old line, look, we're still a work in progress and all that. And I get that. Every team is a work in progress, and there's areas that we've got to fix. But he pretty much said what I said, that you can't keep on going and giving away scores like that. You have to be able to respond quicker on the ground to what's happening. You have to be able to make those changes on the ground before coming to the break, and then have the coaches reset it for you all, and then you go out again in the third quarter. He said, well, we're just a little bit slow in doing that. And that's right. And a little bit slow in taking the heat out of the game when they were on a run, because they got a roll and they were just, electric, and brought them right back into the game, brought the crowd into the game. Is exactly what you don't want when you play away. And we've seen it against St Kilda. It turned up the pressure. We saw it against Collingwood. We saw it against Richmond. And each of them, in each of those games that we seem to go missing for a period of time. You can't do that. We've established that. I think what we need to be looking forward to, like on the positive side of things, is next week and every single game that we've got for the rest of the season. You've got Geelong in there, you've got Melbourne in there, you've got Collingwood again, I forget who else, but Adelaide over in Adelaide, Brisbane in Brisbane. That's some really, really solid hit-outs right there. And we've got to look forward to and enjoy every single one of them, because we're not up to final standard at the moment, I don't think. We're not far off. And that block of games is going to get us as close to ready as we can possibly be for finals as we can, and to hold us in very, very good stead. Unless we lose all of them, then we won't get into finals. But we will learn a lot about the footy club and about players and about our coaching staff and everything in the next block leading into the finals. If we make it and we're into the top four, we have a fucking good chance, I tell you.
All outstanding points. Well done, my friend. Voss, as I said, like you pointed out in his presser, mentioned about, going missing and those blocks. First of all, a lot of the responsibility of that falls to him to rectify. He's not out there, but if he was, I've got no doubt he would rectify it. But and I've got no doubt he's addressing those kind of things. Still an immature side, still a few out. That's a contributing factor as well. Should we be talking about finals footy and stuff like that? It's got to be in the back of our mind that's that's the stuff we can't be doing. I think someone's mentioned here that they think we can go all the way. So there's a few Blues supporters looking a fair way ahead, and good on us for doing that.
If we can hold up in that block, not win every game, there's no way we're going to win every game. We can hold up in that block and get in that top four. We are a chance. Anyone's a chance.
I said it last week, and again, St Kilda laid down like whatever they did against Freo on the weekend. But as soon as a team gets hold of us with some fair dinkum pressure, then that's our Achilles heel, and a few of our lower sort of bottom 4 or 5 become a little bit suspect. There's a lot of turnovers in that second quarter that cost us goals. There were a lot of missed opportunities. There were a lot of fumbles that turned into goals. There was a lot of mistakes. I know there was one that was a 50. That kind of stuff. That's probably not fair on the group, but just those kind of stuff creeps into our game when the pressure gets a little bit higher. So I'm sure they're aware of it. This is an evolution. These games, you're right, they're going to set us up for having to play 4 quarters of full solid footy from the full 22 that gets out there.
So, question for you and the audience. We've talked a little bit too much, so I'll get the audience involved here. If you're coach, if you're Michael Voss and you walked in there on Tuesday, today, and you do your review of the game, would you only do that second quarter and focus on what and how it went completely wrong?
While people are asking that very insightful question, I will get to our awesome audience, and we'll get to a few questions and points. Norm says, lids off again. Every week it's on, it's off. It's like checking the steamed veggies. It's off and on. Make sure they don't go soggy. Bretsky, good evening to you. My friend watching is on YouTube. How do we fit Pitnet, TDK, McGovern in the same team?
Easy.
Okay.
Easy. Yeah, let's get into our ins and outs later, but yeah, no problem.
I think that's a general question, but yeah, that's probably one we should
question.
cover a bit later. I've got a question for everyone, and this TDK. First of all, how good's TDK? Like that's he didn't win the centre hit outs, but around the ground he absolutely smacked Nat Newey. I know Nat Newey's getting on a bit and coming off an injury, but he was just all over Nat Newey around the ground.
Yeah, getting on a bit. He's getting on a good paddock, I think, already. He's filled out a bit, the old lad. But I did notice that I thought Nick Nat, Kennedy, Darling, a little bit top heavy. I thought that was good 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago.
Yep.
Play footy, but I think that they were just a little bit too top heavy, and it does that impact you on your ability to run out 4 quarters, particularly when you're as seasoned as they are.
Yep. Who else have we got? Cottrell is turning into a good player, says Wayne Feenstra. Do you agree, Johnny? You've bagged him?
Yeah, I do. I didn't rate him because I thought his disposal let him down. There's never been any doubt in his running ability, and I just didn't think his disposal was up to AFL standard. I've been proven completely wrong. I reckon he's one of the best kicks at full pelt that we've got on the team.
I'd like to make another point about Cottrell. I think his defensive game needs a bit of work, and I saw that firsthand against St Kilda when he had to do some work on Brad Hill. But that'll come. I don't think it's his natural go-to is to run with. But even though he's got the fitness, he's got the footy smarts to run with someone like Brad Hill. So that potential role should go with someone else. We see Cottrell when he's out running, and he does make a contest. There's no doubt about that. But I'm seeing also another maturity level. We're not seeing the over exuberance necessarily we've had from him in the past when he gets a kick or a goal or whatever. We're seeing just a more level-headed Cottrell, and it's like, okay, I've done my job. I've kicked this goal. Let's get back and do it again. I don't know if anyone else has picked up on that from him either. Great
point. Yeah, he looks like he definitely has matured in that respect. Yeah, get back about the task at hand.
Yep. Brennan Whitford Hayes had more disposal in 10 minutes than what Honey had for the game. Honey's an interesting one, and I'll talk about maybe that a little bit later on. Julian Rose says, Julian, looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, my friend. Safe travels when you get over from Japan. I'll put my order in for some Hibiki whiskey through you very soon.
I thought that was a sign off there, Julian, from a bloke who saw the game. Con Itchy, WA.
Could be Con. That could be true. Brad Miller, Kennedy's game was huge. Kennedy was huge. He's a barometer, isn't he, Kennedy? Defense, he gets back and helps out in defense and takes some really solid marks. We know what he can do in the midfield, and he gets up forward as well. So it was huge. him and JSOS are our barometers.
Yeah. Look, can I get back to TDK for a second? Definitely did work around the ground, but I still think we really need Pitnet. Um, I don't like the idea of Silvani rucking. I've said it before. He competes well, but he's not a ruckman. We need that 1-2 punch, pretty much like what we've got Harry and Charlie in the ruck there, to really, for 4 quarters, have premier ruckman, not premier ruckman, but you know what I mean. Very, very good ruckman in the centre of the ground. But with JSOS, and what I would have liked to have seen in the second quarter when things went tits up, is having JSOS next to TDK in the centre. JSOS has been rucking, so he has the ability to read what the tap is going to come from, particularly because in the first quarter he'd already seen that. He'd already been privy to that. So get him into the midfield. May only be 10 minutes, may only be 5 minutes. Just stem the bleeding for a minute. Read the tap and slow the game down. You know, bring it down to stoppages or whatever needs to happen. You know, we didn't get that second quarter. We didn't get enough of that, and I thought that would have been a nice little counter move that no one would have seen coming. Put him into the midfield, get him to read the taps, and stop the flow. What do you think?
Oh, that's interesting. I'd like to hear what the audience think of that in particular. JSOS has been a bit of a ruck rover too. He often wins his own taps, and often roves off the opposition ruckman when he knows he's got no hope. So I think being in there has made him a better player. Not focusing on the ruck could potentially open him up and give him more opportunity to do what he does around the ground and to be that link up forward. I think a few people have said, Bretsky says he needs to start hitting the scoreboard, and that probably will come when he's not focused on the ruck. But he's doing everything right. He's taking those marks when we need to. He's spoiling his game all around. But yeah, interesting point to sort of stick him in there and act like that.
And with the 2 ruckmen, you've alluded to it. The wonderful audience has alluded to it. Is just how good he and Kennedy are as the old utilities. Sorry, the swing players. So one goes forward and one goes back, and swap them over. When we're pushing forward, they both become wingmen, if you like, and take the marks. Pardon me, going back the other way and play that stopping role. I think that they could be wonderful. I'm going to call them circular players because they work that whole circuit from half forward to half back through the wings and provide those opportunities and keep the opposition guessing. Really, as one of them will be up forward, one will be down back, and one or both on the wings, and they're both good enough to be able to hold all of those positions because of the work that they've done.
Yep.
I hope that made sense. It makes a lot more sense in my head.
Well, it does make sense, and Andrew has just made a good point in terms of looking at areas what we do well, and that's that's definitely one of those areas. The arrangement that we have in that midfield to look for that link up player, and the combination that we have of those guys when they're on. Hewitt, Chair was great on the weekend, made up for his game against Freo.
I didn't think he was that great.
I thought he was really, really solid. So those guys, we know what they can do, and if they bring their A games, then we're rocking and rolling. I thought a lot of the midfield dropped their eyes a lot better, and our disposal and delivery to the boys in space was a lot better rather than those bombs, and it clearly paid dividends because Charlie and Harry got on the ends of them rather than having to fly for them, even though Charlie, did do his contested work outstanding. So I think they did drop their eyes a little bit better as well.
Pardon me. That's a great point. There was several times there where I thought exactly that, is that the ball carrier has actually kicked it and drawn the forward to them by the placement of their kick, that's next level. It really is.
It is next level. And how good is it to see those boys in flight? Every kick every goal they get just brings them another confidence. And every mark Charlie takes in a pack like that just brings him closer to marking the next one and the next one. It's a beautiful sight to see when they're on.
Yeah. So when was the last time that we saw a combination like that in Carlton jumpers? I think we could have had that had Jared Waite ever got fit. him and Favola. We never saw it. Who before that?
Well, you could talk about Sticks and the Duke, Big Earl Spalding and Kernahan. Maybe that was maybe a good big tall timber combination.
Yeah, just not exactly. Either of them not exactly as coordinated as the two we've got now.
Even the fact we're mentioning two of those players in the company of the great Kernahan is an interesting conversation to have. We could talk about that for a long time. Johnny, a few people want your votes while I'm going through a couple of others. Everyone, look, it's great. Everyone's up and about. I said it on the weekend on Twitter. I said, look, how our season's been done and dusted in the last 100,000 years in round 6 or 7 in that time. It's just been a dismal. Okay, yeah, let's hope for another win. Let's see what happens. We want a good performance, but it's just so good a feeling to have at least something in our sights, whether we make it or not. It's in our sights. It's an opportunity. It's so good to have that feeling rather than the opposite of just nonchalantly watching the footy each week for knowing that it's just another wasted season potentially.
Yeah. Look, it's a strange place to be. I really don't know how to feel.
Enjoy it. That's what I say. Enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably why I was so pissed off at half time, because I thought if this goes to shit, we're down the bottom of the 8, just duking it out. So yeah, let me think a little bit more on votes. I didn't give it any thought at all during the game because I was just so consumed with it. So give me a couple of more moments. I'll think of something.
TDK, Doc, Kennedy, and Chera for me. Doc, he's so beautiful to watch, and he's so clever. He's doing these kicks, these sort of under type ground kicks through packs at the moment to get through packs, and they're so clever. I don't know if anyone else is picking up those. They're very, very, very clever kicks rather than sort of swinging around on his to do a wasteful kick into something you can't see, into a pack. He's doing these very, very clever kicks that are rolling forward and making making opportunities for the runners to run onto and getting some space. So very, very clever. He's just I just can't speak more highly of the bloke.
Yeah, that's a good call. Chera was nowhere near votes for me, but I've got to go back and have a look at the replay because I thought he had a very dirty first half. But I could be wrong. That was just my initial thoughts. I'm going to give votes to the little man, Durden. That moment, I think it was in the first quarter, where everyone else had given up on the football, and he's grabbed it just inside the boundary line, put it straight on his boot and laced it out to Motlop was just something special, and that deserved a goal. I really wanted to see that go through because that was an amazing bit of play. Everyone, like I said, everyone had stopped and he'd just gone, yeah, nah, this is still in, and just quickly hand a foot and away he went. And he was great all day. He really lifted another level. He was probably, to me, in the last few weeks, probably in the gun to have a bit of a rest, not dropped, but just have a bit of a rest. Think about what you've done, and come back into the side, make your way back into the side, which I'm sure he would do very, very quickly.
Yep. Very good point. Carlton Live is making an appearance. I'm assuming that's our very good friend Simone. Thank you for that. Harry McKay, run down first quarter, set the tone for the game. He's good at that, isn't he? He's deceptively quick, but the fact that he's doing it is great, and it does set the tone when your forwards are doing that. Another one was late in the last quarter when he roved for a goal. So he's got the tricks, Harry, and we know what he's going. That's a really good point.
Yeah, Andrew Lake, I like that. Just add a premiership medal to that, and we're all good.
We can dream. Peter Vlahos says 3 Doc, 2 Kennedy, 1 Walsh.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep, I like that. Who else have we got? Anthony Walsh says TDK, 2 Doc, 1 Charlie. Can't miss Charlie. Hard to put Charlie in there. Bretsky says Doc is an All-Australian. Well, that's a gimme. If he's not All-Australian, I'm going to protest down at AFL House, and they're going to get a piece of my mind. Andrew Lake, I think you just touched on this, Johnny. Arguably witnessed one of the greatest sporting comebacks the game has ever seen. Doherty wins the John Nichols Medal this year and grabbed an All-Australian spot. It needs the recognition it thoroughly deserves. Two knees, cancer. Yeah, I can't think of anything like that. That kind of adversity, and the way that the bloke just handles himself and has just handled that adversity it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And it's interesting. You said it before. No, sorry, not interesting. It was a great call. He just looks so smooth, doesn't he? He runs. He runs on top of the grass.
Yeah.
Oh, Sade made a song about his smooth operator.
Just brings me to my smooth Star Wars whiskey.
Did you invest in them or something?
I'm telling you, if they put up any opportunity to have shares, I'm getting on board. I might as well buy some shares instead of just buying their whiskey. But I'm on board. All right, look, it's fun. West Coast, yeah. Let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy it. I think someone said earlier that it's been a long time since we had a 60+ win, and especially over West Coast. It's a very, very, very good result. And it again highlights the fact of how good we can play when we're on,
and how bad we can play when we're off.
Yeah, it was a good contradicting game, wasn't it? It just does show the good and bad of Carlton, and again, I'm confident that the staff there and Vossi's aware of those kind of things. And if he listens to Carlton Live, he'll pick up a few gems like listening to you, Johnny, and pick up a few ideas along the way just to help him out.
Yeah, no votes, fuck them.
No votes, fuck them. That's it. Well, Charlie probably got the F-bomb from you on the weekend. So
I've started some really bad trends. Some really bad habits amongst the playing group. I've got to stop it.
I think he meant to say fuck John Rowe, That's all I think he meant to say.
He meant to say, he's a fucking legend.
Breaking news says Anastasia Sokolakis. Sorry, Anastasia. Harry McKay taking a pay cut. It was 7 years.
Just hold it right there. What a beautiful name. You did wonderful with it, mate.
Oh, my second go was a lot better than the first, I think. Good Greek name, I would presume. We talked about that last week when everyone was carrying on about how do we keep these players, and I think what we decided we believe that some of these big names will probably want to stick together, and they'll do that for the sake of keeping the group together. So. We were going to talk a little bit about some contracts. We might do that a bit later in the show if we get around to it. But there's going to be a bit of room. But if that's happening, that's great. And thanks for bringing that to us, Anastasia. That's just one element to show how much the players are invested in the place.
Yeah, and it goes back to my point a couple of weeks ago. If you win a premiership, you're a premiership player for life. That opens up so many doors for you, and that can never be taken away from you. It just adds that something.
And there's some smart people in business on boards and around the club, and some coterie people and business people, and their job is to, and they'll be helping players out like that, and they should be making off the field. Surrounded by the good people at the Surrounder, they should be making and setting themselves up to make way more money than they would on dropping a few bucks out of their contract. Carlton have got a really good business group. Luke Sayers is an outstanding business leader, and I'm sure that they're getting around their players and helping them set themselves up for life after footy.
Yeah, there's no salary cap post career, is there?
No, that's right. The brown paper bags stop coming when they stop playing. Okay, Johnny. Let's get on to. Well, we might talk about some of the players moving forward, and a couple of names have been mentioned tonight about some sort of fringe type players. Unless you want to go ahead and talk about your best players, Johnny, and anything you want to finalise from the game.
No, I think that's enough. I think everyone's got the best players better than I did. I'm really keen to go back and watch it now. For Chera, like I said, I didn't rate him. and his game, particularly in that first half. So I'll be very, very interested to see that everyone's got a differing opinion. So that might just be one or two things that I saw that were stupid and has affected my whole view of his game.
18 kicks, 9 handballs, 7 marks, 3 tackles.
Yeah, very good stats.
Two
People can use stats to prove anything.
Just from my memory.
Yeah, very good. Also wanted to point out before we go through to the future is Wiedering and Lewis Young have the ability to become the backline version of H and Charlie.
Excellently put. You are on fire with your commentary tonight and your evaluation of the situation. That's perfect, isn't it? They can be having those 2 bookends or 4 bookends, if you want to call it. That just sets you right up, doesn't it? Lewis Young has just been amazing, and him and Wiedering just complement each other. And we've said it before, Jones too.
Yeah. Look, if he's sniffing around Essendon, or I think there was another club that had a look at him. Yeah, all the power to him. He's 32, going to be 33. He didn't play that well when I saw him in the quaffle. He was patchy, had some great moments. If he's up for it and come back, good on him. Now, I think with my analysis, I've earned a wee. So if you wanted to talk through the audience's comments for us, just a sec.
Mate, you need to get on the whiskies. You don't wee so much, mate. Or you just need to work out something under the table for this. But, yes, Johnny, you have earned a wee tonight. A couple of people have talked about Honey. Obviously, he's come in for, well, not obviously, but he's come in for Jack Martin on that half-forward role. I've been critical of Jack Martin on a few areas in terms of the lack of the ball he's getting and potentially some of the efforts that he's making, and the fact that we would probably expect more from Jack Martin. Consistency wise, Jack Martin's been in and out of the side through some soft tissue injuries. He was first picked at the start of the year. I'm liking what I see from Josh Honey. We don't see a lot of the numbers from him, but I think also that is the similar situation that we're seeing with Jack Martin and his numbers. It's just the way that we're playing right now, where half forward is a little bit overlooked as a position. You're going to have to work additionally hard, especially with our focus is of course on Harry and Charlie, and then we've got the two small forwards or Owies and Motlop or Durden and Owies or whatever combination we've got. So half forward is that one position that's probably being a little bit overlooked, and we're not using it a lot. So they're going to have to work extra hard. So, but I'm liking what I see from Honey. He still hasn't played a footy, but I think he brings a little bit more at the moment than Jack Martin has, and I think we keep playing Honey for as long as we can.
Can I just mention my personal news sponsor, Jay's Blue? There's a Jay's Blue break.
Fair enough. I'm not sure if anyone agrees with me. Andrew Lake says Honey is running where the ball ain't. Not sure too much about that. What you mean by that, Andrew? You're sort of saying he's not. He needs to get better positioning. Maybe clarify that for me, mate. Honey has toe and tackles. He needs to hit the scoreboard a little more, especially his set shots. I agree with that. I think those opportunities will come. Honey's time will come. He's one of those blokes that we're talking about contract talks. He's good for us. Does a lot of unrewarded running. Brendan Whitford says Martin frustrates me. What do you think about Honey? First of all, I think his contract is up at the end of this year. We'll go into a conversation about a few players about their contract status. But Johnny, what do you think about Honey? Is he in your best 22 at the moment? And do you see him earning another contract?
Another contract, yeah, because you're not going to pay a fortune for him, are you? Get some consistency into him. I think we've all seen that he can play. I just want to get some consistency into him for him to be able to prove it on the big stage. Enough to work with, and enough to go again, I think. Like I said, he won't cost the world. It might be a rookie contract. Is he a rookie contract or senior? Doesn't matter. He might get a rookie contract or something, but definitely worth persisting with at the low end of the spectrum of dollars. If he asks for money, then yeah, say like not worth it. Who do you put in that position? I'm still going back to what I said last.
Cunningham. Yes,
Okay.
Cunningham. He's another player that is a half forward, potentially winger. That is also in contract talks. Haven't seen him. Very consistent, flash in the pan. Is he someone that could do you see him having a future with us beyond next year?
Geez, that's a tough one because his best is best on ground best. And he's never got consistency from his body. And what he was a 2015 class, was he not? So, he's had 7 years to prove himself. That could be a tough one to sell. I think he's been one of my favourites, but never seen him get a run of it. Jack Martin, again, just needs consistency. He just needs to be, string together 10, 12, 14, maybe a whole season together, and let's see what he can do. He's definitely not worth the big money he was on, but that was a heavily front-ended contract, so I'm not too worried about his contract. Ed Curnow, Grego, has just made a point that there's no room for him. Probably not next season, but I made the point last week, and I'm going to stick with that because there's no real person sticking their hand up for that half-forward role, and that might be where Ed Curnow can come into the team, provide a little bit of leadership in the forward line, run through the wing, and sort of help out in the guts when it's needed. That might be where he squeezes back into the team, provided he's fit.
Rookie?
Ed Curnow? If he wanted to, yes.
He played some time in the twos. I'm not sure if anyone saw the twos on the weekend, but I've been to see played limited minutes, I think. So it'd be interesting to see what happened. It'd be a fairy tale for him to come back in. You were the one who raised a half forward role. And of course that opens up other opportunities as tagging when it needs to be. He's not going to come in and play this week. That's not going to happen. And he's got to work hard, and I hope he does work hard, and I hope he earns a spot. I don't see it, but I hope he does. I certainly hope he does.
So Andrew Lake, do you have a stat for me on how many games David Cunningham has played out of a possible of his career? Oh my God, there it is. 41 games out of a possible 149. Andrew Lake, does that include Magoo's, or is that senior games?
It's a telling stat, isn't it? It's a very, very telling stat, and there's often a lot of romance in footy, and you'd be picking him on romance, wouldn't you? If to get him another contract. I was surprised that they signed him up when they did. They gave him another contract on the back of really not a lot. So yeah, it's he's probably the most intriguing one. Someone would pick him up, I'd reckon, and have a crack at him, but. The whole list management conversation is a holistic approach this year, isn't it? Is there going to be wholesale changes? I don't necessarily think there will be. There's a target there, I'm sure, for what we're looking at. There's money there. Wholesale. I was going to talk a bit about a few other players and their contract situations, but we might leave that for another date. Liam Stocker. We might talk about Liam Stocker out of that because we're probably moving into the Geelong game. Stocker is also out of contract end of this year. He's probably a fair chance to maybe come in this week if maybe someone like Nunes doesn't get up, or maybe they think Plowman might need a spell, or they might need a bit of a stronger body. Don't know.
So. I didn't see the twos, so I can't really make comment on form. But I think if McGovern's anywhere near fit, I'd like to see him as third up to get in front of those two big boys who are just kicking goals out of anywhere. I think he.
You're saying McGovern should come in this week? Is that what you're saying?
If fit, yes, and take the place of Plowman and play tall.
Interesting call. If memory serves, and someone's got a better memory than me, He played round one, McGovern. But I don't know if he played any sort of pre-season role. So that might give an indication on whether you're playing him back. Big game against Geelong, rolling the dice. I personally don't mind it as an idea. Personally, don't mind it.
Yeah, I'd like to see
Get him in, if he's going to break down again, get him in and break him down, and have someone as a backup on the sub, like Plowman as the sub.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't mind that at all, because Plowman could go forward as well if needed.
It's a roll the dice game, Geelong, isn't it? This week, it's a no lose situation. It's have a crack. We're not expected to win this game, but there's plenty of opportunity to win it, and the way we're playing, they're playing some outstanding footy and have got some really good players everywhere you see them. So it's one of those roll the dice games. You know, you're not gonna die wondering if you have a crack at Geelong.
Yeah. I'm just reading these awesome comments that are coming through. Plowman plays on Stengel or Mears type. Yeah, that's not a bad call. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see Stocker in and maybe take on a Rowan, because he can pop up at exactly the wrong time, kick a goal or two.
Stocker can come in and so can Plowman, because Stocker can come in and potentially replace Nunes. And I think it would be more valuable to have a Stocker in this week as opposed to a Nunes when you've got some other runner type players. I know Nunes has played a little bit back, but I think an extra solid defender like Nunes would be more valuable than a Nunes, even if he is fit this week.
Yeah, you'll need to say that again. You said Nunes twice. So a solid defender like Stocker or
Yeah, I think a solid defender like Stocker, as opposed to someone like Nunes, even if he is fit, might be more valuable.
Yeah.
Nunes has been playing some pretty good footy, but even if he is fit, I think potentially comes in for Nunes because of that potent Geelong forward line and some of the crafty players they've got down there. Nunes is not a lockdown defender. He's a bit more freer, and I think we've got some players to cover Nunes, but not some players like Stocker who can come in and defend.
Do you think Sard? When we've talked up Sard and his defensive capabilities, do you think he has a capability to work on Stengel?
100%, 100%. Yeah. Nunes and Sard, Newman and Sard both can take him. They're very, very solid. Those two guys, 100%. They could take him. I think Stocker gives another foot to gives another bow to our arrow in that department.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Let's talk about that Geelong game. It's first of all, I want to say that it's my wife's birthday on Saturday, so I just want to put a call out to anyone that might be free to take her out Saturday night. Show a nice time. Photos are available. I can message some photos. She's okay on the eye. She won't be drinking, so that'll be okay. But maybe dinner and a movie so I can watch the footy. That'd be very nice. Please let me know who's available.
Moving right along, Craig Rudd. Look over your shoulder, mate.
She's a big fan of the show. I'm sure she's watching somewhere.
I've met the lovely lady, and she is just wonderful. But yeah, she's tough as nails too, mate. She'll make you regret that one.
I could just take her to the game. That'd be nice.
Does Craig Rudd, does Boyd get another contract? Yes.
Yep.
Done enough to work with there.
Done enough. I underestimated him. Bad for me. Me
too.
He's good. All right. This game, Geelong have crept up pretty much on everyone. They're on top of the ladder now. They're playing. I've just given Melbourne a footy lesson. An awesome footy club, an awesome footy side, the best footy side in the last 10 years in terms of consistency, you've got to say, and the way they go about things. We've played okay against them. I think when do we beat them up in Geelong? Was it last year, the year before? I think we might have beaten them.
I'm going to say last year.
So, yeah, up there, someone will remember that. But look, it's a history would say that if we do lose, we're not going to get smacked. But it's probably come at a really good time, coming off a good win over in the West, where our tail's a little bit in the air. Our two big boys are in fine form. Weeders has got a game back, so he's got a game under his belt to take on their two good players in Cameron and Hawkins. Dangerfield is a back in form player for them. It's going to be head to head, really. I think we know Vossi doesn't tag, so it's just going to be head to head. The DeConing boys, it's going to be awesome to see that and check out Carlton's webpage about their family and how they're approaching that. That's a cool little story. Is this a grand final preview, Johnny?
Look, potentially, who knows? But let's just take it for what it is. It's a warm up for finals. Shows us where we're really at, and the great thing is we've still got weeks in the bank to learn from it and propel forward. Should we lose, even if we win, we've got enough to learn out of it.
Yeah, you're perfectly right. It's a game that's and it's probably, in terms of the mental aspect, there's not a lot of pressure on us to win this game. The pressure on us to win the St Kilda game was there, but the pressure on us to win this Geelong game is not there. So they're just going to go out and have a crack, and I think that they should just throw caution to the wind. And I like your idea about bringing McGovern straight in, get some games into him is important. Whether he stays in or whether Marchbank comes in is going to be interesting to see. I don't think they'll play Pitnet straight away, but stranger things have happened, and I think JSOS is again doing more than an admirable job. It's a game I can see us win, but I'm not going to get caught up in the fetal position unless we get absolutely smacked on the park if we happen to drop this one.
Like I said, even if we do, there's so much to learn out of it, and we've seen over the course of the season that we're not that far off. That if we do get smacked, it's not throw the baby out with the bathwater type of thing, because we're on the right track.
Yeah,
and we're learning hard.
Brendan Whitford's exactly right. It'll show us how far we've come. The games that we've lost and the games against Richmond and St Kilda and Gold Coast, they're stupid losses. But I don't know if they necessarily showed where we're at. I think this will be this is the one. I hope it just doesn't do too much damage to the psyche if we happen to get thrown around a little bit. But I don't see that happening. I think it'll be a tight game. I really do.
Michael Voss, within his 3 premierships, would have seen enough games where the Lions just got absolutely smacked. So he'll know what to do. How's that?
Okay.
For a bit of wisdom.
Yep. All right. Give us your ins and outs, everyone, before we shut down for the evening. Are you going to the game? Let us know. Saturday night. The weather looks to be potentially okay, which is good. So it'll be a good contest. Will it be a high scoring game? Don't know. Zach Tui's another good player in form. He's an ex-Carlton player. They've got stars on every line. Let's be honest. I rate them well and truly higher than Melbourne. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully seeing the game, or pretending I'm seeing the game while I take the lovely out for dinner, unless I can get another. This will be me. This will be me on the phone. Oh yes, honey, you're so wonderful. Yes, come on. Oh, you're so beautiful. Come on, Cripper. That'll be me on the weekend. Well, I might need someone with one of those hidden earpieces. Anyone knows anyone that does those hidden earpiece things? I might try and get one of those.
It won't matter because you'll make too much noise.
Awesome augmented reality glasses that I can put over my eyes, where I can just pretend I'm looking at my beautiful wife when I'm actually watching the footy through these augmented reality cornea implants or something. That'd be pretty cool.
It's like Homer when he goes to the courtroom. Instead of just those glasses that cover the eyes for him to sleep, there's like TVs.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. If anyone can whip me up some of those, I'll be eternally grateful. Anthony Walsh says Geelong on a winning streak. They fell over the line against Richmond. They got a lot of experience and slow the game down. Frustrating team to play against. That's a good point, and hopefully we can exploit that, Anthony. That's an excellent point. Hopefully we can exploit that by just taking it on a little bit more and running and breaking them open. So that'll be it'll be two contradicting game styles if they try to put that on us, and we just don't want to be sucked into that opposition play, which they're so good at doing. Andrew Lake is a genius. Take her out for lunch.
Problem solved.
Yeah, that's an idea. That's a great idea. I can do that. What did I think of that? Done, honey. Andrew's taking you out for lunch. There was another comment I wanted to say here. Brad Miller says out Nunes and Motlop in Stocker McGovern. Okay, that's interesting. We lose Motlop. I don't know about that. Always was a late withdrawal and probably did Motlop a bit of a favour. Motlop has to keep his spot, I think, but that's another comment or another name for another time. Brighton Baths has a TV behind the urinal. I'm so blessed to have a lot of good, smart people on this show. That's I'll be ringing up there, booking in dinner at the Brighton Baths. She'll be calling me every 5 minutes saying, "Get out of the toilets." I'll bring my what's those that Chromecast things. So I'll stick the Chromecast in the TV so I can watch KO in the Brighton Baths toilet urinal toilet. So perfect plan. Ingenious. Thank you very much. I owe you a beer. Hayes is another a good point to come in. Brendan Whitford says McGovern, Hayes, Owies out, Newman's, Plowns, Honey, and the sub Honey. Don't mind that at all. No Stocker though. Maybe he's bringing in McGovern instead of Stocker. Luigi is saying get off to a fast start. Yeah, no doubt about that. Don't want to be chasing Geelong's ass. Let them chase us, even though they're good at coming from behind or coming from in front. They haven't got a lot of weaknesses, Geelong.
4 quarters.
Four quarters. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I wouldn't mind. You know who one player I wouldn't mind in this week? M. Voss.
So I'm just going through the team here, trying to select my ins and outs. So keep going. I'm not quite there.
Okay. You should do your homework, mate. I think Brad Miller. You've been so on fire. You've been on fire all night, and when it comes down to just doing it basically like picking a team, you're letting us down. Out Nunes and Motlop in Stocker McGovern. I like it. Except I'm going out Nunes in Stocker. Out Plowman in McGovern. That's my change, and I'm having Hayes as probably the sub again. But maybe Stocker. I don't know. I don't know. You convinced me on McGovern straight back in. You've convinced me.
Yeah. Okay. So what were your two Nunes for Stocker? Did you say? And
Nunes, Stocker, Plowman, McGovern.
Okay, those are my two, and I'm going to say Honey for Pitnet. Not like for like, but I really do want this idea of 2 ruckmen going up and playing the rest of the season, particularly against their 2 beasts.
Okay. And who's your sub? Honey's your sub? You got Honey for the sub or Hayes? What did you say, Hayes or not? Or Honey?
I like your idea.
Yeah.
I really like your idea of Plowman sub.
Yep. All right, everyone. Who's going to the game? It'll be Dow's the sub, says someone. Dow's a forgotten player, isn't he?
Yeah, it's interesting. A topic we should put on for next week is are there favourites? and in this case, not non-favourites.
Yeah. Wayne Feature, who can stop Hawkins? Oh, look, both of our players,
Lewis Young.
Both Lewis Young and Wiedering can stop Hawkins. Not a problem at all. And Wieders has stopped him plenty of times. Plenty of times. There's I hope they're doing the homework against Geelong and some of their poor performances this year. But I back Wieders and Lewis Young over those two 100% easy. And again, I don't think that's going to be the difference. It's going to be the battle of the mids.
So Brendan, I like this Wiedering on Hawkins, Young on Cameron. Would you also Hawkins or Cameron will probably more Hawkins will play up a bit, and Cameron sit maybe in the goal square. I don't know. I haven't watched Geelong play, but they'll probably alternate that. Would you then? This is another probably good reason to bring in McGovern to go with them once they're past the 50 metre line, and to run up the ground with them and keep our two pillars back for the fast transition. What do you think?
Talking way too much sense tonight, Johnny. This is nearly like that night I drank a bottle of or half a bottle of gin. Do you remember that night?
Yeah, that was so funny.
I'll do that again one night. You should wait and see if we win the grand final. What kind of show we'll be doing then?
Mate, I've already told the missus that's 2 weeks AWOL. Not even I will know where I am.
I've got the fold out sofa ready for you, and I've got the his and hers tattoos lined up.
I've got my spot lined up. I've shown you before the scar spot that's ready for the tat.
Richie Benecars removes that night I drank the gin. Glad someone does. I'm glad someone does. I'll drink a bottle of Star Wars live on the show for a show. You know what we should do as a fundraiser? A 24-hour live Carlton live show with all funds raised going to, I don't know, men's mental health or something. How cool would that be?
Yeah, imagine how many wees I'd have in that time.
You need to bring the girls in as substitute. You need to have a few subs to bring in that time.
Yeah.
No, we just get an empty bottle and put it down there. That can work.
Nice.
All right, think of that. Think of a good time to do a 24-hour Carlton live show.
Yeah, never.
We can do it. There'll be special guests. There'll be people coming on. It'll be awesome. Surely we can talk about Carlton for 24 hours. Play some old highlights.
Yeah, it'd be 23.5 hours of replays.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be off soon, and you can go back about your Tuesday evening. Appreciate everyone's contribution and comments tonight. You guys are our show. A special mention again to Greg, who did some awesome stuff over in the West for us during the week or at the game. I'm sorry, it was good stuff over there from him. Julian Rose Konnichiwa is coming over from Japan for the game against GWS. I can't wait to see you, my friend, and make that connection in person. So that's going to be great. Greg O'Year's into the 24-hour show. That'll be fun. When we qualify for finals, that might be a good timing. That week before the week, we have a week off. Do we have a week off between finals these days? Yeah. So we might do it. Lock it in. We'll do it in that. Wayne Finstra, he's in. That's good. And again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank to you, Johnny. Really appreciate it. Fun show. Great win against West Coast. Most important game against Geelong this week. Get there. Enjoy it. Back the boys in. I think we can do it, and I think we'll scrape in by a point.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go 5 points.
Good stuff. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. I'll do a live show from the Brighton Baths toilets while I'm watching. while I'm watching the game in the urinal. just don't hope. I just don't hope I just don't tilt the phone a bit too much.
I was just about to say, don't drop it. Don't drop
the
view.
Phone. Good night, everyone. Thanks, guys. Thanks, girls. See you later.